what's up? How we doing, everybody? What's going on? Oh, what's good? Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. All right. Oh, God. Now, welcome to Issues in Musical America and More tonight. I'm your host, Chet You Betcha, and my guest today is the wonderful Dusk Blacksmith, who is the author of a fantastic book entitled All Men Are Pigs Autobiography. Dusk, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. You know, it's a beautiful night here in London as we see Big Ben here. Never looking better, Ben. Anyways, I hear you just came to discuss with me a little something today that you find to be a little bit of a social issue in women in orchestra, was it?
I did, yes. It's a very serious issue, actually. I would like to discuss, particularly within the world of music, the discrimination amongst women, especially in leadership roles.
I see.
Within the music world, the area of conducting maintains a very high level of gender discrimination. In comparison to male conductors, female conductors are practically non-existent. And here with me, I have one of the few women holding a position of leadership in a major U.S. orchestra, Marin Alsop, and she would like to state some of her reasoning for this imbalance.
Well, good evening, sir. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you doing?
I'm a woman. As a society, we have a lack of comfort in seeing women in these ultimate authority roles. There is no logical reason to stop women from conducting. The baton isn't heavy. It weighs about an ounce. No superhuman strength is required. Good musicianship is all that counts.
Well, if that's so, why are there so few of you feeble-minded folk in conducting?
Women conductors should not be the issue. As Marin said, it's the musicianship that counts. It's what you can bring to the work that is important, and for that, gender is completely unimportant.
Oh, is that so? Then do me a favor. How would you respond to the fact that Bruno Mantovani, director of the most prestigious conservatory in Paris, insisted that women did not have the physical endurance for a conductor's life? And perhaps the most widely publicized comment came from Russian Vasily Petrenko, when he commented that a girl on the podium would bring a sexual energy to the orchestra and distract from music making. I actually have a wonderful friend here, my dear friend from Russia, named Timurkanov, who has a beautiful thing to say here.
The essence of a conductor is strength. The essence of a woman is weakness. Russia.
How would I respond? What would I say? I would say that you both are ignorant idiots that have no idea what's coming out of your mouths. Arguing that a woman's inability to be a successful conductor lies in her weakness or lack of physical rigor needed to excite and lead an orchestra is just a flimsy and sad man excuse. Women are more than capable of tearing music to shreds with their physical vigor. What about the many famous female musicians, pianists for example, Martha Argerich, Yuzha Wang? Have either of you ever seen either of them play? Or how about Natasha Peremesky? She's young and gorgeous and feminine, yet she makes that piano submit. Oh, her performance of Rachmaninoff's Third Piano Concerto is one of the most musically intuitive, riveting, and fiery interpretations I've ever experienced. You have to see this. I'd like to hear a man play like that. Whew. So why wouldn't women be equally capable of directing that kind of intensity and passion through conducting? And actually, when it comes to conducting, sometimes the smallest yet incredibly sensitive and musically intuitive gesture is what's needed to create a moment of intensity and artistry. There are many examples of women who understand this and create incredible musical moments.
I believe it. Tell you what.
Sadly, though, there are many women conductors who focus less on making music and more on creating a show. They mimic the music with grossly over-exaggerated gestures, appearing possessed and afflicted, rather than just letting their gestures reflect their vision of the whole musical picture and then actually creating the music. I think it's due to women like this that the stereotype of incapability has been placed upon women conductors as a whole. Successful conducting comes from drawing upon the music within you, rather than mimicking the music with wild gestures. I want to show you a bit of an interview in which an opera singer and conductor, Barbara Hannigan, talks about creating a sound world and inviting your audience to join us.
Same. It's bel canto is bel canto.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to do, well, we have to do like a 3-hour interview because about all the things, the crazy things you've done and the wonderful videos and all the rest of it. But I promised our Horn viewers that we would talk about performance techniques, performance skills, and music communication, because it's something that's very important to you. You're an incredibly flamboyant musician. You know, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's facade or whether it's mystery or whether you're singing. I've heard you doing some lieder as well. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. You put your heart and your soul into it.
I think that's, for me, the core really is listening. And that I'm listening very, very deeply to my colleagues at all times, to the whole sound world. Not particularly to myself, because I'm making the sound. And if I start listening to myself, then I'm going to get behind. But it's listening to the sound world in which I'm living at this moment. And I think that very, very deep concentration is actually introverted. And what I try to allow is for the audience to be able to come in to our world. I don't try to go out to them. And it's interesting because you said the word flamboyant, and I hear that sometimes, you know, that they think that people see kind of an outward thing, but in fact what I am feeling is the inward feeling, going into the music, inviting the audience in.
That's why we maybe see this flamboyant, because we feel invited in.
Yeah, that you come in. And you do see, I mean, you know, this very deep listening and this very deep concentration leaves a person in a state of vulnerability. And I think even though that's difficult to do day in and day out, it, for me, is the only way. And secondly, it's touching and it's moving for the public, because I don't think if I close off some part of myself to try and protect, you know, from nerves or whatever it is.
That's a very, very good point. Closing off part of yourself. And I speak.
Let's look at some examples of actual musicians creating music, compared to those who just smile and bounce around because they know they're pretty. This first video I have is of Barbara Hannigan conducting an overture by Rossini. I want you to watch her body language and facial expressions in this clip. She does so much with so little. She is the music, and the music. Another example of this kind of artistry is shown in this clip of Marin Alsop conducting Dvorak's Ninth Symphony. Pay special attention to her. after seeing these beautiful examples, now we will look at something rather alarming. Here is Alondra de la Parra, another woman conductor, but of an entirely different rank. She is so happy to get to be a conductor, and you can tell. She jumps around to the music up there, grinning the whole time, and when she's not doing that, she contorts herself to such a profound level of wildness, all you see is her, and the music is lost. No leadership, no artistry, it's just sad. So that, I guess, exemplifies another major argument about women conductors. Many say that the biggest problem for any woman wielding power is usually about how those under that power might perceive and respond to it. And power is at the heart of a conductor's work, essentially. The strength of mind and personality to compel 100 accomplished professionals to follow your lead. That's the most challenging thing about conducting, honestly. If there are difficult issues, for instance, if a male conductor is yelling in a theater about something, then it's generally accepted. The way men handle difficult situations is taken as a mark of authority, but to do this as a woman can be very badly perceived. In addition to these issues, men seem to have the idea that all the traveling to foreign lands and constant conducting would be impossible for the life of a mother and a wife. That if you are a woman without a woman's family life, then there aren't too many problems in being a conductor. But to raise a family as well as doing a job that is so time-consuming and demanding is just not possible. The incompatibility of this international lifestyle with raising a family certainly does present a problem. But this applies equally to singers and soloists, and to business careers of many types. So the question still remains, where's the real issue here?
Well, if you remember, as Vasily Petrenko said, male conductors often have less sexual energy and can focus more on the music. And a sweet girl on the podium, that can make one's thoughts drift towards something else, a place I like to call the gutter, if you know what I mean.
You think women's minds don't also have the ability to drift elsewhere in the presence of a beautiful man? I think I'd like to make one final point. I think I'd best do that with a quote from composer Gustav Mahler. He says, "The tradition is the handing on of the flame, not the worship of ashes." I think many people would say this movement is already underway. And looking at the statistics of recent increase in female roles in musical leadership, you could say there's been some progress. But is it really progress towards true gender equality in the arts? Or is the so-called progress just an extension of male control, allowing women to progress and develop within their own views and constraints? It's an important question. Something I would like us all to think about. Music is an expression of humanity. When you take women out of the musical equation, you're stripping away half of human consciousness. Women are able to channel and expose their intense emotional side in a way that enhances the music, even to a level some men may not. By including women in the world of music, a deeper understanding of human consciousness is given, and that can be profoundly transformative to the world of music.
Why must you speak when you have nothing to say? I'll tell you what. This ain't gonna make itself. And that was our wonderful guest. Everyone, thanks for coming in. I hope you guys have a great night. We'll see you next time.